And the story is called I Can See Through People. I can see through people. Literally, I mean. I can see through them. If you sat in front of me now, I could see what you had for breakfast. Assuming that you had breakfast, of course, which you should have done, with it being the most important meal of the day and that. You probably think seeing through people sounds like fun. Well, for the most part, it is. Other times, it isn't so much fun. Like the time I could see cancer eating its way through my friend's body. And you know how people say somebody's riddled with cancer? But it's true. My friend's insides look like a forest of mushrooms after a rainfall. You may be wondering how I developed this gift, how, after an afternoon's Christmas shopping, I cycled back home with a basket full of presents when I saw a stone in the road, a pretty stone, round and smooth and marbled, more like a pebble you'll find on the beach than a stone you see on the road. I considered stopping and picking it up, but with such an icy chill in the air, decided to continue on my way home. I swerved around the stone, my tyres skidded, and I lurched towards the curb. Instead of mounting the pavement, I rode sideways onto it, feeling the bike coming away from underneath me. Sliding across the pavement, I watched the black iron railings of someone's front garden coming towards me. I remember thinking, I hope I stop before I hit the railings. I didn't stop. Siren signalling help was coming, could be heard in the distance. The siren stopped. A door opened, closed, and footsteps came towards me. A paramedic peered down at me, looking up at him. Bubbling away in his stomach, I could see the remains of a Twix and a cup of coffee. You should chew your food more carefully, I said before passing out. No one knows my secret, not even my best friends, not even my boyfriend, but that's because I don't have one. I've been on a dating site recently, and although obviously I haven't said I can see what you had for dinner and not just because you spilt it down your shirt on my profile, it occurred to me that I would need to broach the subject if I do bag myself a bloke. Tonight, I got a date with a man called Mike. I have high hopes for Mike. He's a vegetarian like myself, and has chosen a vegetarian restaurant for our date that I've wanted to go for ages. Mike was there when I arrived, and he stood up to greet me with a peck on the cheek. I glanced down and saw into his stomach. Nestled at the bottom were the remains of a bacon roll. I returned his kiss with a faint smile, sat down, picked up a toothpick and stabbed at an olive that was in the bowl on the table. It's good to meet at last, Mike said, as he tapped a breadstick against the side of his wine glass. After all our emails, I feel like I know you already. Yes, but you can hide certain things behind a computer screen, can't you? I said. It's only when you meet face to face that you get the whole picture. True. Yeah. I must say, though, that you look as lovely as you do in the photo. The waiter came over, took our order, and Mike poured out 2 glasses of wine from the bottle of red that was already on the table. Cheers. Here's to a good evening, Mike said. Cheers. Have you been vegetarian long? Yeah, well, about 5 years. It's such a great lifestyle to have. All that delicious food to eat, and of course, the prettiest girls are vegetarian, he said, winking at me. How about you? I was raised a vegetarian. I never go out with a man who ate meat. It's a shame there are so few male vegetarians. Just as well we met, eh? My garlic bread with cheese and pizza, topped with mushrooms, chilli and olives arrived, along with the spaghetti and tomato sauce Mike had ordered. Is that all you're having? I asked. Well, you know, I'm on a bit of a diet at the moment, middle-aged spread and all that, he said, forking his food into his mouth. Spaghetti slid down his gullet like skinny little worms drowning in their own blood. I was halfway through my pizza when Mike put down his knife and fork, sighed and said, "Oh, I'm stuffed." My knife and fork clattered on the plate as I stopped eating and laid them down. I'm not surprised. If you had a bacon roll just before you came out. What? But You're not a vegetarian, are you? How do you know? I left a tenner on the table and stood up. I can see straight through you. Ladies and gentlemen, Cathy White.